Hi guys, hello, welcome to my channel. We are nearing the end of May, so it is time to put together our June TBR, and I'm pretty excited. I'm always excited. I go into every month with like so much optimism that I'm gonna read tons and tons of books. Do I end up reading half of the books that I end up picking? No. But it's just really fun. I love a fresh energy type of vibe. And in the last couple of months, I've actually been doing things a little bit differently. Typically, we use our handy dandy TBR jar. But again, I've been wanting to kind of switch it up a little bit. So we did a blindly like unwrapping some books. And then also last month, you guys actually helped me choose on Instagram. And I do feel like you guys had a lot of fun with that one. I definitely had a lot of fun with it. So I definitely want to do it again. But this month, we're taking it back to our roots, and we're going to be using our TBR jar prompts to pick our TBR for June. So without further ado, let's pull our first prompt. And I do apologize for the lighting today. It is very, very gloomy outside. Like literally this entire spring so far has just been the rainiest, gloomiest season ever. I feel like winter was also extra gloomy, like more than normal. So I just cannot wait for summer and for the sun to come out. Anyway. So our first prompt is going to be, we're going to do this one. Kind of like jumped in my hand. Ooh, okay, can't do that one. If you've been with me for a little bit of time, I do have a couple of different colors of prompts in here. I've got these two colors, this like lighter kind of green and then like an olive green. These ones are just kind of like random prompts. There's no rhyme or reason for them. But then we also have these kind of like darker Kelly green ones, and I consider those kind of like my active prompts. And these are ones where I actually have to like involve another person, involve a pet, go somewhere, that kind of thing. And this one says to go to a thrift store and pull an extra prompt to pick a book from the thrift store using that prompt. And that sounds so fun, but I literally just went to the bookstore over this past weekend. It's Tuesday today, and also I'm planning on uploading this video tomorrow, and I really don't have time, nor should I be spending the money to get another book. So we're gonna have to put this back in the prompt jar, and maybe we'll pick it another time. We'll definitely pick it another time. Take two, prompt number one, we're gonna do this one. And this one says, a book with the word you in the title. Oh, also by the way, I've rearranged these last two shelves. Basically every single book on these bottom two shelves of my bookcase are all books that I have not read yet. So we can choose from every single one of these books, which I think there's like 100 or so, which is crazy. Like I really need to calm down. Unfortunately, not really unfortunately, but unfortunately for my shelves and my wallet, June actually has a lot of really fun releases coming out, so we're definitely going to be doing some shopping in June. But after that, I probably should really consider putting myself on some sort of book buying ban. I don't think I have anything. Oh, I found one option. Maybe a second option. It might be cheating just a little bit, but we'll see. I briefed over every single 100 or so books that we have on the shelf, and we have two options. And funny enough, both of these are actually nonfiction books. The first one that we have that is a solid you in the title says, what I was doing while you were reading. And this is essentially a kind of memoir style nonfiction book about a woman who decided not to have kids. And as someone that has decided also not to have kids, I thought this would be really interesting to read. But we also have this one, and I feel like this one might be the one that I should probably pick just because as you can see, we've got a bookmark in it because I started this in October of last year and I have still not finished it. But this is Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. So not exactly you, but I mean, it's literally got one extra letter, so close enough. And this one is again kind of like memoir slash like short story kind of style of nonfiction about like different things that have happened to the author, who is a mortician. But this book specifically is kind of more so stories from her first job as a cremator technician. I don't really know the technical term for it, but she basically cremated people. And honestly, this has actually been so interesting. I don't know why. I don't know, I just haven't been in the mood to read this because it is a little dark at times. I think it's kind of a seasonal thing as to why I haven't picked this back up. Again, I started it in October. It's spooky season, it's fall. Like this kind of just seemed like a perfect kind of theme for that, and it was. But shortly after, obviously, we go into November and December, which are very festive, happy holiday seasons, and this just didn't fit the bill anymore. And now we're in spring and we're going into summer, and again, I don't feel like this is very seasonally appropriate. This, however, actually shows her, like this picture is from an airplane window and she's like looking out, because I think she decides to like go on vacations and stuff like that instead of having kids. It says, Kristen introduces readers to the Israeli bartenders, Finnish poker players, sexy Bedouins? I apologize for saying that probably horrendously wrong. An Argentinian priest who helped her transform into Kristen adjacent on the road, a slower, softer, and yes, sultrier version of herself at home. So yeah, I feel like this talks about her travels and things like that as well, and this would be perfect going into summer now that I'm thinking about it. So I've changed my mind. I think I'm gonna pick this one, and we're just gonna save this one again for when spooky season rolls back around. I also think that's gonna be my first nonfiction for the year, which I'm actually kind of excited for because I set myself some goals going into this year that I was gonna read more nonfiction. I think I specifically said I wanted to read 5 this year, and I have not picked up a single one. So that'll be our first one. And now for our second prompt, let's go ahead and, okay, I've got like this one literally wrapping around my finger, so let's pick this one. This one says Instagram pics. So I'm gonna have you guys pick a book for me. I'm gonna go ahead and pick 2 different books for you guys to choose from. I feel like I should wait until the end. I'm gonna wait until the end. Typically before I go into these videos, I have like a general direction. Like I've written down some video ideas. I kind of know the theme that I feel like reading, but this month I'm just totally open. I have no idea. But then also I don't wanna like prematurely pick something if a prompt later on is gonna prompt that book, you know? So we're gonna wait till the end. So let's pull prompt number 3, and we're gonna do this one. And this one says, oh, good grief. This TBR jar is really trying to make me buy books. This one says treat your shelf, AKA buy a new book for my shelf. And we're gonna go ahead and do it. I already put one back. I don't want to put another one back. And actually, you know what? I already have the perfect book for this prompt because I read this book a few weeks ago called A Door in the Dark, and the second book in the series just came out a couple of weeks ago, I think. And I've been kind of like hesitating on buying it just because, again, I'm trying to like slow down on the buying a little bit, but I have like the worst memory in the world. So I want to make sure that I read the second book to the series before I forget what happened in this first book. So this is the perfect opportunity for me to just go ahead and get that book because, again, it did come out a couple of weeks ago, and originally I was going to buy it like the second it came out, but I've just been like hemming and hawing. So our second official book on our TBR is going to be A Whisper in the Walls. Also, the covers of these books, are they not like so pretty? Prompt number 4. I'm gonna do 5, by the way, just because like I mentioned, I do have a lot of books that I want to get in June, so I'm trying to like not put too much on my TBR plate because there's specifically one book by, ooh, what's her name? Ashley Posen is coming out with a new book called A Novel Story or something like that. It's basically about a girl who, she's going on like a road trip or something like that, and then ends up in like a small town, but she finds out that it's like the small town from like her favorite romance novel series or something like that. Like, it just has the coolest concept, and I'm so excited to read that. Like, that's gonna be read the second it comes out. So yeah, so basically I'm trying to keep my TBR pretty minimal going into the month. Anyway, so this prompt says a book you think you will rate 5 stars, which is perfect because I love getting a prompt where I'm going into it reading something that I think I'm gonna love. Let's see what we got. I definitely should have organized these shelves a little bit by genre at least. There's no rhyme or reason to the order of any of this, and it's making it kind of difficult to look through them. Okay, this one I feel like could be an option. What do I feel like reading? I've been reading a lot of romances recently, which I don't actually feel like I have a whole lot of just like fluffy romances. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just do like a fantasy. I honestly feel like this one might be the one, but I want to keep looking really quick. Oh, I did get a couple of books from my sister for my birthday that I haven't showed you guys yet. So we have Every Last Secret by A.R. Torr, and then Rhapsodic by Laura Thalassa, something like that. These 2 books have been on my wish list, my Amazon wish list, for the longest time, so I'm very excited to have them. I think this one was one of like the very first books I ever added to my wish list, like 2.5 years ago. So I don't honestly remember what it's about, but I do believe it's a thriller. There's a quote that says, all she wants is the good life. Right now it belongs to someone else, but not for long. This one definitely is going to have like a creepy vibe. It kind of seems like we have a character who is envious of someone else's life, and so she slowly like tries to take over her life. I love that concept. And this one, I don't really remember either what this one's about. This one says, for the past 7 years, Callie has been wearing a bracelet of black beads up her wrist. Magical IOUs for favors she once received. Only death or repayment will fulfill her obligations. So that's a really cool concept. I love that. Everyone knows that if you need a favor, you go to the bargainer to make it happen. He's a man who can get you anything you want at a price. And everyone knows that sooner or later he always collects. But for Callie, he's never asked for repayment. Not until now. Ooh, there's more to that synopsis, but I'm gonna leave it at that. That sounds really good. My other option would be this one. This is Three Dark Crowns. This one is also kind of like a fantasy type of novel. This one's basically about a set of triplets that are born every generation, and they basically have to go through like a set of trials, I believe, to the death. Each sister has to fight for it. It's not a game of win or lose, it's life or death. The night the sisters turn 16, the battle begins. The last queen standing gets the crown. Yeah, I think we're gonna read this one. Like, this one sounds good for sure, but this one sounds real good. And I've had this one a little bit longer on my physical TBR, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these ones back, and we're gonna go with this one. All right, last and final prompt. Let's kind of like really mix these around. I thought I felt one fall. All right, let's pick this one. This one says, a book with a pretty cover. This one should be really easy because I am definitely someone that buys my books based off their covers a lot of the times. Not always, but a lot. Yeah, right off the bat, we have so many options. So we've got Red Queen, which I've actually been kind of dying to read this. Is this not the coolest cover ever? Like, the whole concept of this book is like purely red. Love it. I really wish I was in the mood for something specific because that would make this so much easier. What do we have so far? We've got a fantasy, and a nonfiction, and then whatever you guys pick, which I don't know yet, which honestly, let's go ahead and pick those as well while we're looking at the bookshelves. I could go with this one. This one is House of Salt and Sorrow. I really like the idea. Ooh, I know exactly what I want to do for a pretty cover. We're gonna go with this one. So this one is Sunbringer by Hannah Kaner. And yeah, this cover is so cool. And it's also very summer vibes. This is the second book in a series. This is a follow-up to God Killer. And I read that last fall, I believe, and I really, really enjoyed it. That one was basically about a knight, a god killer, and like a little girl, all kind of like crossing paths and having to kind of like work together for a common mission. And this book is the follow-up to kind of like see what happens with them next. So Sunbringer is going to be our book with a pretty cover. Now I just need to pick two books for you guys to pick between. Should I do Red Queen? Ooh. We also have Under the Influence. This is a really cool book. This also would have been a good one for the pretty cover. This one says The Devil Wears Prada meets The Assistants. I've never seen The Assistants, but The Devil Wears Prada is like one of my favorite movies. This is basically about, I think, someone like trying to become an influencer or something like that, which sounds really interesting to me as someone kind of on social media. I think this one's going to be one of the options for sure for your guys' pick. Oh, I also have this as an option. I think this one could be fun because it's like summer vibes with House of Salt and Sorrow, but I feel like the majority of books that are already picked are parts of a series, so I kind of want to pick books that are just like I can just read and be done with. So we're not going to do that one. I kind of want to pick a thriller randomly. I read The Housemaid a couple weeks ago as well. Now the sun's coming up now that I'm like almost done filming. I read The Housemaid a couple weeks ago and I really enjoyed it. I wasn't particularly in a mood for a thriller at the time, but I read it anyway, and yeah, I really liked it. So maybe I want to read a thriller. Not that I have a whole lot of options for that, but we have Every Last Secret, which maybe I should just read this one. This one also, from the title anyway, or like the cover, kind of has summer vibes. They're like swimming in some sort of body of water. I was thinking it was a lake, but now I'm seeing stairs, so I think it's a pool. We're gonna pick this one. And the Red Queen I also really want to read, but we'll save that one for another day. Okay, so the options for you guys choosing are gonna be Under the Influence and Every Last Secret. Obviously I haven't done it yet, but here's what the Instagram poll looks like, and I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it up for the full 24 hours that it's gonna be, you know, available on stories for you guys to have plenty of time to get your votes in. And because we have the power of editing, I'm gonna go ahead and just give you the results now, even though I have no idea, I haven't even taken the picture yet, but drum roll please. Here's the results. Thank you in advance for everyone that voted in the poll. And with that, we have our June TBR. Let's do a little quick recap. So we have What I Was Doing While You Were Breeding, Three Dark Crowns, Not a Door in the Dark, but A Whisper in the Walls, the second book to this book, Sunbringer, and then of course the book that you guys chose for me, which was either Under the Influence or Every Last Secret. And that is our June TBR. Let me know in the comments what you guys are reading in June. And yeah, I think that is everything that I have to say. I hope you guys have had the most amazing of days, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!